Today I'm going to share with you practical discipline examples for gentle parenting. So I remember when I started gentle parenting, I said, yes, this is going to be for me. This is going to be my parenting style. I don't agree with the way I was raised with the chancla rule. Everything was chancla, flip flap on my face. If you are Latino, you know what I'm talking about. I didn't want to raise my kids that way. I wanted to raise them differently, to communicate with them differently. I didn't want my house to be a yelling chaos all the time. But then I was like, okay, I see this behavior. I see this hitting. I see this bedtime stalling. I see this line. I see this tantrum. If it is not timeout, if it is not spanking, if it is not bribing them with something, what is it? Is there even discipline in gentle parenting? I remember asking myself that. And the answer is yes. We are gentle parenting. Parenting with understanding is not a permissive parenting style. We do discipline our kids. And a lot of permissive parents may call themselves gentle parents, but they're really permissive. But true gentle parenting is not permissive. It does have discipline. We do correct our children's behaviors. We don't do it without spanking, without timeouts, without bribes. We do it differently. And that's going to be what I'm going to break down here in this YouTube video. What it is, what it is not, why most parents fail when they try to do gentle parenting discipline, the process for successful gentle parenting discipline, and practical examples. I'm going to give you an example with bedtime struggles, another one with hitting, the other one when children just say no and then you're trying to get them to not do something and they say yes, and then, the back and forth and the line. So if you want to stick around to see the practical examples on how to make finally gentle parenting work in the discipline department, then stay. If you're new to us, hello, my name is Marcela Collier. I'm the CEO, founder, certified parenting coach of HIC Parenting Education Agency. We are a parenting coaching agency, a group of parenting coaches helping parents go from I watch the reels, the TikToks, it makes sense in my head why I need to respect my kid and move away from spanking, but how do I do this? It's not working too. I feel confident, I feel equipped, I have the customized plan that works for my family. So what gentle parenting is and what is not. Let's talk about that. Because when we come from traditional methods, we may see gentle parenting discipline through the same lens. So, for example, if we came from the method of you do as I say and I yell, and then the child dances to our requests, that's not going to fly in gentle parenting because children feel more free to talk to us, to express their opinions, to express their emotions. The same way, when we feel free in an environment, we feel more comfortable to express ourselves, our opinions, our disagreements, our emotions. If we do feel safe with our spouses and they say something that we don't agree, we're going to say something back, right? Yeah, I don't agree for this and that. That's not what traditional parenting expects in discipline. Traditional parenting expects right away compliance, blind obedience. You do as I say, don't talk back, just be quiet and do what I say. And that's what gentle parenting discipline is not. You cannot come to gentle parenting discipline with that lens of, I'm talking gently, my tone of voice is not yelling yet. I'm still expecting you to comply to me right away, you to dance at my requests. That's just authoritarian parenting in a gentle package. That's authoritarian parenting in a gentle package. That's what it is. And I've seen it so many times on TikTok. Let me show you that gentle parenting doesn't work. I've seen many TikTokers. And they repeat to their children the same thing that they would say yelling, but with a softer tone. And of course, because their children have heard that very same thing with a yelling tone, they don't even acknowledge the parent. They're like, yes, you see that? That's a proof that gentle parenting doesn't work. That's not even gentle parenting. Telling a child, hey, you need to listen in a gentle tone Just because it's a gentle tone, it's not gentle parenting. Stick around because we're going to move into what it actually is in terms of discipline. So that's one of the reasons why most people who try to apply gentle parenting discipline, quote unquote gentle parenting discipline, fail because they rely on TikToks, they rely on social media content for their parenting education. They're not having the proper education, professional guidance to help them understand their children to the core. So they try to discipline their kids with a gentle tone without understanding their children developmental stage, without understanding their children emotional maturity level, without understanding how to communicate to their children at the level they're at with the skills they have, with the understanding of themselves and what's triggering them and what's making them feel anxious and upset. So they are full with anxiety. And that was me back in the day. I admit it. When I started my gentle parenting journey, that I rely my parenting education from TikToks and Reels and social media content. What I was doing is that I was getting those tips online and I still didn't understand myself. So I was all triggered, all anxious, angry, trying to talk gently to my children. At that point of anger and triggered and anxiety, and guess what they were picking up? They were picking up that. They were picking up on my nervous system state. They were picking up on my anxiety, on my demeanor. That's what they were getting. They were not seeing the logic of my words because my words didn't match up with my energy. My energy was anxious, triggered, upset, and angry. And it's not about that we are not allowed to get upset or get angry when we are gentle parents. For sure, we are. The difference is that gentle parents who have had professional guidance and better education than just parenting reels and TikToks, they have more awareness of their body and their emotional state. So I know when my body is getting triggered and why it's getting triggered, and I know how to support myself to get to a better place so I could address my children. And many times that doesn't come alone or just by watching a reel or a TikTok. So let's go to the process. What is the process to finally apply gentle parenting discipline? So the first one is what in HIC parenting education, we coach parents through our parenting with understanding methodology, which is the process to understand ourselves first and understand our children. And from there, we respond with what we need and our children need. So the first one is the parent-centric side of things, like me, myself. If I'm triggered by my child's behaviors, then that's the first thing, working on myself. So my children don't pick up on like, she's anxious, she's triggered, she's telling me, honey, don't do that. And yeah, I really know that mom is mad and I'm scared something might happen. The next thing that she might do is yell, and maybe, yes, that's the next thing that you do or we do. And that's the pattern that our children are seeing. Gentleness, yelling, gentleness, yelling, gentleness, yelling, gentleness, yelling. And that's the pattern I was on, the cycle. It was a cycle I was on. So when I started working directly with my parenting coach back in the day, I started gaining understanding of myself. And that's what we call in parenting understanding the self process. SELF process. It's an acronym. So the S is becoming secure. I'm triggered. How can I go back to safety? In my head, how can I calm myself down? Educated, that's the next element. Educated on what? On brain development. On, okay, my child is screaming, he's 2. What does brain development tell me about 2-year-olds screaming for something they want to have? Is developmentally appropriate? That helps me with my expectations and remaining patient with my children. And then we go to the L. The L is how can I have a loving response that meets my child's need? And the F is fun. And fun not about having children getting away with behavior or misbehavior. It's not about giving in or about offering bribes or rewards. It's about how can I help my child through this time so this struggle is not a struggle. So it's doable. So is that they're actually able to see the positive in this and the skills and tools that they need to have to overcome this challenge. So how do I break down the self process? SELF. Let's talk about bedtime struggles. I want another sip of water, and they already drank water. You know that they're not thirsty, they're just stalling bedtime. So how did you do gentle parenting discipline here? Let's go to self. S. Are you anxious? Are you angry? Are you about to snap? Delay your interaction for a few seconds. Take care of yourself. Calm yourself down. E. E is educated on our children's needs, brain development. We understand that bedtime is the longest separation of the day. I don't want to lose connection. Even through the separation, I want to stay connected. And then we go to L, the loving response. If we know that that's the need, what's the loving response that you will have? How can we stay connected during the separation? How can we stay connected? Maybe I have an idea. We could cuddle for a little bit, and then I could go to my bedroom and I could take a picture while you're asleep. And the next day, I will show it to you, and you see that I was thinking about you and I was checking on you. And for the child to feel confident and safe and relaxed that going to their bedtime, that does not mean they would not have access to you during the night, because that creates a lot of separation anxiety. So if the child knows, okay, I can still access my parents, that could actually, it sounds counterintuitive, but it actually reduces nighttime wake ups and get ups. I would say nighttime get ups, because we all wake up in the middle of the night, nighttime get ups. And then the F, how can we make this bedtime routine more enjoyable? Now you're requesting all these things. What could be exciting about going to your bedroom that we can make it exciting? For my routine with my twins, we came up with a night projector. That bedtime story went out the window because they cannot wait to be on their pillows, because that's the rule. As soon as your head hits the pillow, we turn on the star projector, and then they watch and watch those little stars turning, and I see that their eyes roll to the back of their brain and they fall asleep. That's how we make things more fun and enjoyable, instead of like, go to your bed, no more water, stop. That's not enjoyable, that's not fun. That puts a lot of cortisol and adrenaline in your child's brains, and it inhibits the production of melatonin, which is what we want. The other one, the heating. So heating is a safety thing. It's not safe for our children to hit each other. We separate them. And after that, what is the next thing? Self. Secure. Okay, let's go back to safety. Let's go back to calm down state. E, educated on brain development. I know that my 5-year-old uses his body to communicate his emotions. And that's why he hits, not because he's a rude child, not because he's a bad sibling, not because he's all these labels that we think our children are. It's developmentally appropriate behavior. Now, is it a pro-social behavior? No. So how can we correct this? Using a loving response. So that's when we talk to our children. They're already calmed down because that was the first thing that we did. Okay, Pedrito. So next time that you see your sister coming to get your toy, instead of pushing her down to the floor, how can you protect your toy without aggression? And then you give them some options. You can call mommy, or you can give her another toy. You could hide the toy, or you can just say, no, that's mine, and call for help. And that's how our children learn. That's how our children learn. The same thing with tantrums, with lying. Let's look at the lying thing. There are 5 core childhood wounds, and one of them is the core childhood wound of betrayal, meaning that sometimes when we were lied to in childhood, when we had broken promises, we developed that core childhood wound of betrayal, and our children's lies feel really big to us, feel like a trauma trigger. So that's the very first thing, going through the self process. Recognize that your children's lie, that trigger that you feel, is not even about your child's lie. It's about you having that emotional memory, that traumatic experience, and having that core wound of betrayal. The E is educated on brain development. So we know that children under 5, they just make up stories because they don't have a clear differentiation between fiction and reality. We know that older children may lie to gain connection, to get out of trouble. It's a fear based response. I fear losing connection. I fear judgment. I fear punishment. So we understand that with the E, educated. The L, what is the loving response? So if you know that your 5-year-old is lying about, I don't know, maybe they're making up that daddy came to the pantry and then he stole all the fruit snacks, and that's why all the fruit snack bags are empty on the floor, and you know it's not true. Then instead of like, you're lying to me, again, they believe their lies. They might making it up, but because they're 5, they're at that developmental stage, they're believing it. So it's just a matter of helping them see if that story that they're telling was part of their imagination or if it really happened. And from there, you take the measures. That was you, my love. Yes, I know that your brain must believe it was your father taking all the fruit snacks and eating them and leaving all the wraps on the floor, but it was you. And fruit snacks, maybe, I don't know, you may have your own beliefs about food. Let's just say that your belief about fruit snacks is that it's not healthy at all times. If you have it in your house, maybe you believe it's good at some times. You could place those limits. Yeah, fruit snacks is just for school. The little fruit snack package I put in the backpack, that's it. That's all you're allowed to eat. Unless your child has this reaction and this tantrum, that's when you go to the L element of the self process and you remain loving and supportive and still hold the boundary firm because you are not a permissive parent. You are a parent that applies parenting with understanding. Now, sometimes when our children are used to the yelling, used to the punishment, this transition from do as I say, timeouts, spanking, it's tough. And it's like parents get stuck. If it's not me yelling or threatening my child, it's a struggle. So if that's you, remember that you can gentle parent your children, you can raise them and break your cycle and raise them differently than you were raised. Sometimes we need more, and needing more does not mean that we are bad parents. It just means that we are committed to our growth and to our children's success. Okay? It only takes parenting with understanding to transform your parenting. I'll see you next time.